Hi, welcome to Money on the Go, where I talk about all things money. I am once again braving the heat and the mosquitoes out here in sunny, very sunny, beautiful Mexico. It's toasty. I'll close the door a little bit more. Don't really want mosquitoes inside, even though there is what's that thing called? Like one of those borders. I can help even more because the other day there was an iguana that ended up coming inside, and I don't want to experience that again. All right, so I am here in beautiful Mexico, and before I came to Mazatlan, I was in San Miguel de Allende, and so this is how much I ended up spending in San Miguel. Now, first things first, this was not a budget trip. This is just a trip where I spent what I wanted to without as much regards to budget. You can enjoy yourself in San Miguel on a budget. You can enjoy yourself in San Miguel splurging. I feel as though this trip landed closer to the splurging side because did I need to go and get 4 massages? No, but I chose to. All right, so first things first, let's start off with the total trip cost. Then I will break it down as to how I ended up getting to this number for 2 weeks in San Miguel de Allende. The first and most expensive thing for me was getting to the country. Now, I believe that Phoenix is a fake international airport, meaning that there's only certain destinations that you can get to without having to have a connecting flight. When I was coming here to Mexico, there was a connection, I believe, was it Dallas or Miami? My cities are getting confused. I feel like it was Miami. I think it was a connection through Miami, yep, and then it went to Querétaro. The reason that this flight was expensive was because one, I booked a one way because I wasn't sure when I would be returning back to the US. So I just booked a one way. And then two, do not recommend this. I booked it the day before I left. This was because I had a lot of things going on, a lot of last minute stuff. I wasn't sure about my storage unit tobacco, but everything was handled. I was able to clear out both storage units, and I was able to not have to pay those fees anymore. And I also got my money back, which is great. Wasn't expecting that. So the total that I spent for airfare was just under $650. If I was doing return trip and if I had not bought it the day prior, I believe it would have been slightly less. My next category of expenses is transportation. I took a lot of Ubers throughout the city. I did walk, but I also took a lot of Ubers. And I took this company called Go in order to get from the airport. San Miguel does not have a direct airport. You have to either fly into one of the two sister airports closer by. I ended up choosing Querétaro. And Go each way is $34 USD, which is a semi-private transportation. I did it because my flights were coming in at times where I didn't want to have to figure out navigating the airport and figure out navigating how to get from point A to point B. So I paid them. They were on time, professional, AC, great. I would recommend it. The rest of my transportation costs, which was just under $150, was me taking Ubers back and forth and exploring the city. I can already feel the mosquitoes. I did put spray on, but I don't know how much that's saving me. So the next thing is lodging. I ended up staying in a hostel for 2 weeks. I enjoyed my hostel. It was great. It had a fridge available to us, a full kitchen available to us, and they made us breakfast each morning. Simple breakfast. It was cereal, fruits, toast. Yeah, that's it. That was pretty much the breakfast. Sometimes I did sit around with people, but I didn't really consume much of breakfast. Most of my money was spent on food and eating out. And I did not cook there, though I could have. I had full access to a fridge and I had full access to a kitchen. But like I said, this was not a budget trip. This was somewhere in the middle. So the total that I ended up spending for lodging was $242.22. I booked it through Hostel World. I booked it prior because I knew like the time I wanted to be roughly in Mexico. And I think those two things helped make the cost less expensive. Now, my food. I ate out for almost every meal. I feel like there was one meal where I had, no, 2 meals I had with my housemate where he made us some dinner. And then one time he was kind enough to make me breakfast. Very kind. But most of my meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I ate out because I wanted to. Could have definitely saved a lot of money by not doing this, but that was not the focus of the trip. So total I ended up spending for eating out and groceries, food, just everything food was $774.91 on eating out getting my meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I did a mix of, street food where I just went and got tacos on by street vendors, and then I also did higher end places where sit down. Your meals will be comparable to what you would expect to pay in the U.S. Specifically, out of that $747, there was about $50 just spent at the airport because it is expensive to eat at the airport. When I got to my flight in Phoenix, it was nighttime. I didn't have access to my water bottle until I bought water. That was almost $6. Breakfast in Miami, breakfast there was almost $22 for water, eggs, toast. Miami's a ripoff. And then when I ended up landing in Querétaro, I was hungry. I ended up getting a sandwich. Now, this one was a little irking because I wasn't doing my conversions right, which no excuse, you can do it on your phone. But I wasn't doing my conversions right. I just ordered a sandwich, and then later on, I'm like, wait, what? This sandwich was almost $15, and it was not a sandwich worth $15 in my opinion. It was hard bread, it avocado, it wasn't even seasoned guacamole. It was not a good sandwich, but it was almost $15, and so that's where the primarily my food budget went. A portion of this also when I was that I had spent leaving. Well, first I just didn't plan right. My flight was very early in the morning. So for breakfast, I'm like, I didn't have anything. I didn't have time at the hostel to eat anything. Then I was not trying to spend money at Starbucks because I don't like them as a company. Great. The mosquitoes are eating me. Let me go faster. All right. So breakfast was at Starbucks. Breakfast, I was not trying to eat at Starbucks originally. So first I went to Cinnabon. Nasty, disgusting, horrible, like stale bread. And then I tried to go to the vending machine, wasn't working. And so hunger took over, and I had to take myself to Starbucks and get a sandwich. This sandwich right here with the fake eggs was almost $9. Then when I got to Mexico City, I ended up getting some food, got Carl's Jr., also disgusting, almost $14. This brings my daily average for food, if we're looking at a daily, to just under $51 to $50.48 as a daily average for food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. Total that I ended up spending on activities in the 2 weeks I was in San Miguel de Allende was $314.69. The activities that I did that I enjoyed, I went and got a massage 4 times. I love massages. So the total for that with tip, everything that was included in there. What else I did? I did a walking tour that was around just under $35. I really enjoyed my walking tour. We got to see a bunch of San Miguel, learn more of the history. I try to do a walking tour in each city I go to because I think walking is one of the best ways to get grounded. And I knew I would be walking a lot from the hostel to see activities. So it just was grounding, helped me with my sense of direction. The other tours I usually enjoy doing when I go to places is food tours. But this food tour that I did in San Miguel de Allende was the worst food tour I've ever been on in my life. All the meals except the churros was bad, bland, unflavorful. Usually I don't even read the reviews for the food tours because people are mostly complaining about it's spicy and just complaining about flavor. But this had no flavor. So I think maybe they had a specific audience. I was not the target audience for that. It was not good. I would not recommend it at all. This was the worst food tour I've ever been on. It's not going to deter me from food tours because I do enjoy food tours, but this one, disgusting. And quite pricey. I ended up spending $166.44 on health related things. I ended up getting a colonic that was $80 because I wanted to. And then I had to get medication because I am silly and didn't pack the things I would be needing. So Benadryl and other things just ended up costing a lot. I got this in a smaller city. This wasn't technically in San Miguel. This is on my way to Guanajuato. And I think they just said, American, I'm going to charge you more. And I needed it, so I accepted it. The other thing was $40 Amazon package because, and this is why I need to packing list for how much I go places. You think I have a packing list? I do not. By not having a packing list and by not taking my time, being so stressed, I forgot a lot of things in Arizona, and I needed those things like a phone charger. I was just using my portable charger. It was a mess. So when my friends were coming down to Mexico because they had their family trip planned, I asked them to bring the stuff down. The total of things that I got shipped to their house so they could bring it down when they were coming to Mexico was around $40. Oh, Chica she sees a lizard, so it's over for that lizard. Please let me know what questions you have down below, and until next time.
I know you could do it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it.